Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at an anti-toxic team. I know that a lot of people struggle with the current meta, having so many Bastions / Magnezone / Wigglytuff / those grass type Pokemon around is kinda annoying, but today we're going to have a team here that is going to be able to beat those kinda easily usually. We're going to have a team here with the Clodsire. And maybe, actually you kinda want to change the moveset of the Clodsire as well. You can run Sludge Bomb as well if you want to be even safer against something like the Wigglytuff here for this team. But we're running Stone Edge as well as Earthquake, which is also totally fine. But I did not really have too many matchups where Stone Edge really would come in clutch. Here would be one where it actually does be a little bit better against something like a Dugong, which is kind of nice. But anyway, we're going to have in the back the Greninja as well as the Sableye. Sableye or Saisop trying to bait out anything where dark types don't really want to play against. And also, just a very good Saisop in general. Right now it's very neutral against a lot of Pokemon. Greninja was insane. Like, honestly, this Pokemon is still one of my favorite ones. This can be a little bit difficult against something like the Annihilate here, but yeah, it is still such a good one to use. There was also, I don't know if there's going to be gameplay from this in there, but I played this team before a little bit with Dugong instead of the Sableye. Did not really work out too much, but yeah, if there's like 1 or 2 games still in here, maybe because of this, then you know it already. But I would not really recommend you Dugong, because Dugong makes you a little bit too weak to Annihilate. Annihilate is kind of everywhere, so Sableye it is, and here we're going to be able to win the first battle. Next opponent, we're going to have the Gligar in the lead. We're going to be able to swap out straight away into our Sableye. You don't want to stay in with your lead, as your lead is going to be a very crucial Pokemon for you to have, as you're going to be able to beat those Bastions, those Wigglytuffs, those Pokemon that you don't want to face, with especially the Sableye here. Our Greninja is actually still very decent against the Bastions, so even if you lose the lead, you're going to still be fine there. But it can be a little bit tricky against, of course, those Wigglytuffs there. If you want to be a little bit safer against Victory Ball, by the way, for this team, which can still sometimes be a little bit annoying, you can run also instead of the Greninja, the Mandibuzz in the back, but this would make you weaker to Ice-type Pokemon, which are not as common, but there are quite some Dugongs still around, so that's kind of why I decided to rather go for the Greninja instead. But here we're going to see a very interesting matchup. We're going to see now the Annihilate against the Clodsire, and honestly, I did not even realize on how good this matchup is for Clodsire. Also, the amount of times I shielded up the wrong move on my Clodsire is kind of insane throughout the video here as well, most likely. Like, always kind of shielding up the Night Slash, which is quite mad that people even bait at that range, because it does basically no damage then. But it is what it is. Here we're going to still be able to reach another Earthquake, and we can see already the strength of Clodsire. Honestly, Clodsire, by the way, is insanely high ranked as well on PvP Poke, which I did not really realize prior. But here we can still go for one Earthquake, do quite a lot of damage against the opponent, not knocking them out, but we should be able to win the CMP tie anyway here. And so we can go for the safe play to knock them out with the Greninja and win this game. Next opponent, we're going to have the Mantine in the lead. What do you want to do here? You want to stay in for a little bit, go for one Stone Edge, and then swap out eventually. You kind of want to have some damage at least on them, or like a shield advantage, in order to have a positive matchup later on. Otherwise, your backline is just going to be a little bit too neutral against it. But you also still always kind of want to keep your Clodsire around, just in case there is something like a Charmer in the back. You kind of need to have this Clodsire still. So that's why you kind of always want to swap out if you're going to have something like this here, where it's a neutral lead. In comes here Mantine. We're going to be able to go for some foul plays now against the incoming Annihilate. And this is perfect for us, because now we can avoid the Greninja matchup against the Annihilate, which is going to be something that's really great for us. By the way, some interesting thing about Greninja as well is that it usually hardwalls every kind of charge move from Annihilate. So in certain situations, you can actually use it as a damage sponge. Even though you're squishy, it's usually still resisted, which is kind of funny as well sometimes. But here we will be able to align ourselves. And not only this, we're also going to see here that they're going to go back into the Mantine, which you're gonna see now, and we still have a charge move stored, which is going to allow us to now knock out the opponent's Mantine. At least that's what you thought, but no, they actually decide to stay in here, use a shield, so they must be very weak to Sableye. But my Sableye is so low that there's no reason for me to still keep it around. And look at this, it's going to be the Jellicent in the bag, and we're going to have a great matchup here with Greninja. And not only this, we can also catch a move onto our Clodsire, which is most likely going to be the Shadow Ball, which is going to do only neutral damage compared to Surf, and so we're in a great spot here. I'm even going to be able to reach an Earthquake. The opponent's only play here was to try to farm me all the way down. It did not work out, and so we can now go ahead and see that the opponent's Mantine is not going to have any chance here either, as he can go for the BM move with the Earthquake and a 0 bubble. Next opponent, we're going to have a Dugong in the lead. Again, horrible lead force, we have to swap out straight away, but we have at least a very solid face-up for the scenario. You can go straight for the foul play, but here the opponent makes a great call by going into the Bastion. Sadly, since the XL update, this matchup is so horrible for the Sableye. Before actually the XL update was happening, this matchup was quite neutral still. But this is like one of those few matchups where Bastion really got a benefit from being XL, because now, like this, I think would have nearly knocked them out back in the day. And now you see here, that's kind of the bulk that it gained from having the XL candies on it. And so it is a little bit annoying. They can go for a flamethrower and knock me out, but at least I get some energy here with my Clodsire. They can still go for a flamethrower, which doesn't really do any damage here at all. So yeah, it's still going to be a tough one to come back from, because what do we really do against the Dugong? In comes the charge move from them. I decided to let the move go through, hoping that Greninja might be able to sweep, as we can go for that Stone Edge here against the opponent. And we will see that they decide to go ahead and use a shield here. Smart play by them. And in the back, it's going to be the Annihilate here, which is going to be, sadly, not a Pokemon that you want to see. And if you look at the team and look what the opponent was running, we literally got completely hardwalled. Like, there is nothing that you can do about it, and that's fine. Like, those battles going to exist as well. And here we're going to lose with 2 shields, even though we were able to actually fight back quite easily. I just decided to let the move go through, because I know there's no way I can go for 3 Stone Edges in time, and so I'm just going to forfeit this one. Next opponent, we're going to have here the Broguiere in the lead. That's a little bit of a tougher one, by the way. But what you can do is you can go up to an Earthquake, you can take one charge move here. Awkward Tail is super effective, but you're still a very bulky boy here. Clodsire is taking this one, and we can go for the Stone Edge. Honestly, I'm kind of curious if there's going to be something like maybe items or abilities in the game eventually for Pokemon Go, and Clodsire would actually have the ability Water Absorb in the main CS game, so water type moves would actually heal it and not damage it, which would be kind of funny, but sadly not here in Pokemon Go. As you're gonna see, the opponent stopping perfectly into the Azumarill. What I have to say as well is, I think that was also one of those battles which are very, very laggy, which you don't always see here as well because of the game being sped up for me. So like you have double the amount of frames nearly than what I see. And yeah, like I saw when I did the battles, and it's just kind of annoying because like, yeah, I don't have to tell you, I think that the game is currently kind of broken. And it's already for like nearly a month now, so great job to Niantic on fixing the game. Not. But we're at least going to see here something interesting. We're going to have now Greninja with 1 shield against an Azumarill and an entire team. And that is kind of impossible to win here, right? Let's take a look at this. You're going to see the Hydro Cannon coming through. Going to be able to connect. You see that another one would knock them out, but I don't gonna get to another one here, as they're gonna decide to go for the Play Rough, and they swap out straight away. Into a Skarmory, a matchup that is kinda okay for us, but after looking at the damage of the first Hydro Cannon, I doubt that we're actually going to be able to farm them all the way down after this next one here, because they should be able to get to another charge move in time. So let's take a look at this one. They actually don't, because we can go for the full farm now. They were just on a charge move, and so Greninja knocked out the first Pokemon. In comes next the opponent's Broguiere. I can still go for a Hydro Cannon, which I think does more damage than a Night Slash because it's like such an overpowered move. And we can connect it as well, knock them out as well, even though we had some luck, which was even visible there. And so we can even reach another Hydro Cannon, and we can go for the full Greninja sweep to knock them out. As said before, this is an anti-toxic team, and look at this, the opponent has Magnezone and very likely some toxic Pokemon in the back, but they decide to forfeit straight away. Next opponent, we're going to have the Annihilate here against us in the lead. That is going to be fine for us as well. We can just stay in here and go for an Earthquake. This is a very favorable matchup for the Clodsire, as an Earthquake plus Mud Shot kind of gets them low, but they are also not running the standard moveset. They're running Close Combat on their Annihilate, which is quite interesting, as this is going to allow us to have a very good matchup. Here they swap out, which I expected, so I didn't go for a charge move straight away. We are forced to go for a shield here against the Skarmory, just in case they're going to go for a Brave Bird. I don't want to waste my energy, but they're sadly going to go for this Sky Attack. If they went for Brave Bird, I think 1 Hydro Cannon maybe would have been enough to knock them out, but like this, we have to go for 2 of them. But still, as you can see here, we can overfarm it quite a bit. This is going to be able to guarantee knock them out here. There's no way they can survive it. And so we will see again the Annihilate coming in. And said before, Greninja is just so much fun to play. And this Pokemon is just slapping them so fast. In comes the Dugong from the opponent. I can still go for another Night Slash. This will be able to connect and gonna get a little bit of damage onto them. So far, no boost though from Greninja, which is kind of unfortunate. But at least we can go for another Night Slash here to get them low enough. And it's again no boost here from us, but we have our Sableye still. We can let the move go through, and at this point I think the opponent knows already as well. This game is over. This looks like an undercharge, and so yeah, we're going to move on to the next opponent. Great lead for us, in comes the Tropius, and I expect it's going to be the team that you saw recently in a video of mine as well, I think 2 days ago, most likely when you see this one, where I showcased my brother's rank 1 in the world team, which was very, very solid and definitely one of the most dominating teams that I encountered. But if you know what you're going to have to face, it is going to be okay to still deal with it for this team. As you can see here, we were able to hit 1 Stone Edge in the beginning. We were able to now get the shield back from them as well. As they're gonna go for another charge move, I'm okay with that because I can go ahead and just go for the full farm down now. If it's going to be the Wigglytuff in the back swapping in here, I can go for the return. If it's going to be the Magnezone again, I can go for 1 fast move first and then decide to go for the foul play. And so it's going to be the Magnezone. We're gonna be able to reach another charge move here with the foul play, and they're going to knock me out here, which is quite unfortunate, but we're both shieldless now, and we can go for the full farm down against the opponent's Magnezone. This toxic team does not enjoy Clodsire. They decide to go for the wild charge. We can do more damage now with our fast move, and look at this. It's going to be the Wigglytuff. No Sludge Bomb needed here. Sludge Bomb would be, of course, ideal, but 2 Earthquakes is all it takes to knock them out. And so Clodsire is just the best toxic Pokemon here, which is really cool to see, as they're gonna completely get wrecked by this little, I don't know even what it is, like what's supposed to be, like, I don't know, we will never know. But yeah, we're gonna be able to let this move go through, farm them down, and win in this game. Next opponent, Whiscash in the lead. Horrible lead for us, swapping out straight away into the Sableye. We're gonna encounter the worst possible matchup that we could encounter here, which is going to be that Wigglytuff. But that's fine, because it's very unlikely that they're running a double Charm line, and so Greninja looks better and better here. They decide to kind of, wait out the clock a little bit, which does make a lot of sense as well for them to kind of give me not as much energy, but I can let the Icy Wind go through. This is going to connect, being super effective, doesn't really do too much damage, it's not a stab move, but I should wait out the clock a little bit more as well, because now I'm forced to go for that Earthquake against them, and I have to hope that I can do something here with the Greninja. They have some energy advantage here already, but I can go for the bait, because if there's a Hydro Cannon, the opponent would go down, so they're forced to use a shield, which is a lovely force, as we now can save some energy while using our shields here now to keep our Greninja healthy. We are going to see them swapping out here into the Lickitung, and honestly, I think this was a game where I make a little bit of a mistake, but we will find out shortly. I could go straight for another Hydro Cannon, which I'm not gonna do here, but yeah, we're gonna see the opponent going for the Body Slam, and I can overfarm it quite a bit, and I thought that this Hydro Cannon is not going to be enough to knock them out. But as you're gonna see now, it is, and I was expecting I can still go for another fast move before they can knock me out, or I was also expecting that this Mud Bomb wouldn't knock me out, but it does, and if I just went for the charge move, I most likely would have won the game. But it is what it is. Let's move on to the next opponent. So, let's take a look here at the Giratina matchup. This could be actually kind of great for our Sableye, because this is not a Shadow Ball. They cannot reach a Shadow Ball, even if we swap out and lose a turn with that, before we can go for a foul play. It was just the Ominous Wind. And so, in comes again another Ghost type. So they are running a double Ghost line, which is quite interesting, because Sableye is going to enjoy this one quite a bit. Night Slash coming through, going to be shielded up, and I can go for my own foul play here to try to knock out the opponent's Annihilate. They decide to go for their final shield as well, as I'm going to use a shield as well. As long as they don't boost here, I should be fine to get to another charge move, and of course they boost up straight away, but I still can get to another one, which is kind of important, because now I can put the Greninja against the opponent's Giratina, but also I can align my Clodsire against the opponent's Tentacruel. And so this is going to be able to now hit the Giratina, because they swap out, which is not really ideal, but we gonna still swap out into the Greninja. We can take any kind of charge moves here from them. As long as it's not Dragon Pulse, we're going to be fine, and this is very like just a Shadow Ball, because you kinda need the triple Ghost moveset in this meta, and so we're gonna be able to knock them. We can go for Night Slash against the opponent's Tentacruel as well, which is gonna be quite nice, and so we can go for a back-to-back Night Slash to put them into farmland range, and this game is over. Final battle for today, we're going to encounter the Mantine in the lead, as this is going to be, again, a kind of neutral matchup. You kind of want to go for 1 Stone Edge to just either get the shield or get the damage onto the opponent, and then you can swap out afterwards into your Sableye. Ice Beam is going to be better than Water Pulse for us, because it does a little bit less damage as it's not a stab move. Stone Edge going to connect, they're going to do quite a lot of damage, and as you're going to see here as well, they're going to swap out into the Obstacle, and I make a crucial mistake here over predicting a little bit. I know that they are not going to go down by 1 return, but like a return would do a ton of damage against them. So I decided to go for the bait here. They don't fall for it. And like the more annoying thing is, I decided to go for another bait here. And of course, I'm not at the charge move yet. They can actually know that as well with that. but they're going to be now in a health range where I cannot farm them down yet with either of my Pokemon, but luckily they decide to undercharge for whatever reason, allowing me to go for another charge move, and this is going to completely change the matchup now, because now they are in Mudshot range. And being in Mudshot range is quite nice for us. The Night Slash is not going to do too much damage, we most likely would be able to survive 2 of them, and we can go for the full farm down. We have a Stone Edge stored, they're gonna go into a Whiscash, and so I can go for an Earthquake here to try to get them into range for a Night Slash to knock them out, or get the final shield, like the first shield actually, which is going to be okay for us. We can decide to use a shield here. I'm a little bit worried about Scald debuffs, but they decide to go just for the Mud Bomb, which is cheaper, and of course, if it lands, it does more damage. But as you gonna see here, Hydrocan gonna get shielded up by the opponent, they swap out into the Mantine. I can let the move go through. Like, a Mantine's Aerial Ace does definitely way less damage than whatever the opponent's Whiscash would do against me. And so, the Night Slash is going to be able to come through, going to connect, and we perfectly gonna get the farm down done as we're gonna get the boost from our Night Slash here, which is just lovely. We can go for that Hydro Cannon, knock them out, and we can now actually claim a shiny Phantom, which is kind of hilarious. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.